Expect the unexpected. Something incredible is on the horizon. Say that to yourself and let it land not as a slogan but as a diagnosis. What you're feeling right now, unease, restlessness, the strange pull at night, isn't noise to be fixed. It's a signal. It's the faint hum of a machine warming up beneath the floorboards of your life. Something is beginning. You didn't miss it. You were simply too busy to notice the first tremors. You might have been telling yourself you're behind, that everyone else has it more together, or that if you were truly meant for more, the door would already be open. But what if that nagging pressure, those sudden flashes of clarity at midnight, those improbable coincidences, what if they're the first visible signs of momentum? What if what feels like chaos is actually calibration? Think of a ship in a dry dock. Before the launch, there's a season of shoring, of men tightening bolts and checking hulls, of testing weight and balance. The ship looks clumsy and incomplete, but every tightened screw makes it stronger. You are in your own dry dock. The work looks messy. It feels like delay. But it is making you seaworthy. You aren't imagining it. Those late-night ideas, those meetings that arrive just when you need them, the sudden urge to change the route you always take, these are not random. They're signals. They're the universe, or life, or God, call it what you prefer, nudging and testing, arranging and aligning. It can feel like a whisper or a push. Either way, it's a message. Prepare. What are the signs you might already be seeing? Maybe they're small at first, easily waved away, but persistent. You wake at odd hours with a single clear thought that won't leave you alone. You find yourself writing down a line of an idea instead of scrolling. You meet someone unexpectedly, and a single sentence they say reframes how you see a stuck part of your life. You keep getting the same lesson about boundaries, about saying no, about finishing the work you've put off. Little doors close without drama, and suddenly one window opens. You feel pressure, not just stress, but pressure that has an edge to it, like a diamond being cut. It's sharpening you. It's tightening the screws of your character. You feel impatient and tender and strangely hopeful all at once. That's the corridor phase. You are walking down a long hallway, and the ceiling feels lower, the walls closer. It's uncomfortable because something inside you is being compressed. Old assumptions, old identities, small comforts that no longer fit the person you are becoming. Maybe you've been measuring success by outdated markers. Your friends still see your old chapter. They measure you by old job titles, by relationship status, by the visible scoreboard, when in truth, most of the work right now is invisible. Let them misread you. This is an advantage. When the world holds a dated view of you, you get to move, rehearsal your new life in private, free from the pressure of applause. Give yourself that grace. What looks like being unseen is often the quiet stage where real growth is rehearsed. There is a test before the turn. It's not accidental, and it's not punishment. Think of it as a quality check. Before anything substantial shifts, life asks, can you carry more? Not in the sense of a badge of suffering, but as a practical, spiritual, emotional capacity. Opportunities carry weight. Responsibility is heavier than the spotlight. What looks like a gift will require you to hold new things: time, influence, money, attention, accountability. The pressure phase is life asking, can you hold this without breaking what's essential in you? This testing feels like constraint. Doors you expected to open slam briefly. People don't see what you see. The timing seems perverse, but that pressure forms you. It forces you to decide what you will carry forward and what you'll leave. It demands that the old self, the version of you that coped with less, step aside. That's the cost of expansion. The old container must be made too small so a new container can be built. Let me tell you a quick story about a woman named Maya. Not to romanticize struggle or to promise you'll get the same ending, but to illustrate the pattern. Maya had been steady at a modest job for years. She'd taken small writing classes, kept a journal, and was the person others came to with big feelings. Then her life compressed. Her hours at work shifted, a friendship frayed without explanation, a late-night idea about a course she could teach wouldn't leave her. Doors closed. The pressure increased. She started waking at 3 a.m. to write, to plan, to tidy debts, and let go of projects that felt like obligation rather than calling. People told her it was a midlife crisis, that she was reckless. But she kept showing up to the narrow corridor. She learned to say no. She practiced finishing and shipping small things, one lesson, then another. She did the unseen work of building systems and making tough choices. Months later, an invitation came, not glorious, not flashy, an opportunity to lead a small series at a neighborhood center. It required more leadership than her old life had ever asked. She almost declined until she recognized the test. Could she hold responsibility consistently? She accepted. The series went well. Someone in the room introduced her to a curator who connected her with a larger platform. It wasn't instant fortune. It was slow work meeting preparedness. The momentum she'd been feeling all along, those late-night urgings, those small synchronicities, had been real. Something had been preparing her. Expect the unexpected. An ordinary skill, quietly practiced, became the doorway to something new. Notice how that story isn't about magic, it's about alignment. Maya didn't get swept to a life of ease. She faced choices that required durability. Her breakthroughs were proportional to her ability to carry more. That's the rule. Capacity matters more than chance. Talent helps, timing helps, but your ability to carry new weight, your steadiness under pressure, your discipline when no one watches, this is the real qualifier. So how do you build capacity? Start small and be consistent. Practice carrying what will be required of you when the door opens. First, refine your boundaries. Begin saying no to what drains you, so you can say yes with integrity to what strengthens you. Notice where you leak energy, people, commitments, habits, and close those valves. Capacity grows not by accumulation, but by focused subtraction. Second, finish things. Ship the imperfect. The habit of completion trains your nervous system to hold responsibility. Start with the small items. Finish an email. Complete a project. Be the person known for delivering. Momentum loves a finished thing. Third, practice steadiness. When pressure mounts, choose the work that matters instead of reacting. Steadiness is a muscle that grows by repetition. Show up the days you don't feel like it. That repetition will create a container big enough for the next season. Fourth, cultivate rhythms that restore. Capacity erodes when you're depleted. Sleep, rest, the small rituals that restore your clarity. These are not luxuries. They are the infrastructure that lets you hold more without breaking. Fifth, learn to befriend constraint. Constraint breeds creativity. If everything were easy, you wouldn't have the tests that create depth. When doors narrow, you're asked to find new ways forward. Treat constraint as a training ground. A common fear in this season is that pressure equals punishment. It doesn't. Pressure equals proof. Pressure reveals the parts of you that still need refinement, and also reveals the shape of what you're being built to carry. When pressure comes, you get to choose what it will teach you. Will it make you bitter or deeper? Will it make you small or steady? There is also the social reading. People will still misjudge you. The friend who used to know you as the safe one might tell you you're reckless. The colleague might treat you like you're still the person who used to accept less. Let them. The misreading of those around you buys you privacy. It gives you a place to practice without the pressure of applause. Use it. Turn their doubt into private fuel. Work quietly, and when your season arrives, let the results speak. Now let's talk about the momentum already building, the subtle, almost microscopic signs that the horizon is moving closer. These are the synchronies that feel like coincidence until you begin tracking them. First, precision over noise. You start to notice that the things that matter arrive almost surgically. Conversations land that solve a specific problem. Books you need show up in your hands. One email contains the exact sentence you needed to reshape an idea. The universe, or life, or God, or destiny starts favoring precision over noise. The work isn't an avalanche of everything. It's the right piece at the right time. Second, fewer false starts. You begin to feel less scattered. Where previously you might have tried 3 different strategies and abandoned them halfway, now you find yourself committing and following through. The false starts are drying up because your inner calibration is becoming keener. Third, clarity in decisions. Choices that used to paralyze you feel simpler. You make a decision because your values are clear. When your internal compass is aligned, external opportunities start to look like easy fits or obvious mismatches, rather than grey, murky choices. Fourth, timely conversations. People show up in your life to tell you the thing you needed to hear, or to open the single door you couldn't reach alone. These aren't always dramatic encounters. Often they're brief and oddly practical. Someone mentions a resource, a neighbor connects you to a friend, an old acquaintance remembers your name and passes along a lead. Pay attention to those conversations. They are signposts. Fifth, fewer coincidences and more patterns. At first you chalk these moments up to luck, then you start seeing the pattern. The same theme resurfaces: leadership, discipline, generosity, and you realize life is pointing you in a direction, aligning small pieces so you can carry the whole. If you're wondering whether this rhythm applies to you, answer with honesty. Are you experiencing more resonance than resistance? Not in the sense that everything is easy, but in the sense that the friction you face is purposeful, not pointless. Resistance that refines is different from resistance that demolishes. The former tests you, the latter breaks you down without building you back up. You can sense the difference. Keep trust in the refining kind. Now for practical habits that help you stay ready without forcing the outcome. These are simple, but they add up. Keep a small notebook for pattern spotting. When something strange or helpful happens, a conversation, a new contact, a line of insight, write it down. Over weeks and months, patterns emerge. Patterns point to alignment. You'd be surprised what a month of notes will reveal. Practice a weekly review. Spend 30 minutes each week looking back at wins, corrections, and lessons. What did you finish? What tripped you? Which relationships are fueling you and which are draining you? This review builds awareness and sharpens capacity. Reduce noise. Turn down scrolling and sensational feeds. Replace some passive consumption with active creation. 1 page of writing, 1 small lesson drafted, 1 call made that you've been postponing. The discipline of creation builds the container that opportunity will come into. Enter relationships that reinforce who you're becoming. Not every person needs to understand your season, but your life will need a handful of people who see your intent and will tell you truth with kindness. These people help you carry weight without losing yourself. Be generous with time and attention, but selective with commitments. When an opportunity asks for your bandwidth, test it. Will this help you build capacity? Will it align with who you're becoming? If not, let it go. Capacity grows when you are intentional about what you accept. Hold to a longer timeline. Breakthrough does not always come overnight. Sometimes it arrives after years of steady fidelity. The rule here is endurance. Keep doing the small things better. Keep showing up. Keep finishing. There will be moments when you feel like giving up. That's part of the corridor. On those nights, remember the image of the ship being readied in the dry dock. No one who's launched a vessel believes the launching moment was simply luck. It's the result of countless small decisions, adjustments, and the endurance to keep working when the outcome was uncertain. A few practical mindsets to carry you through pressure. Reframe pressure as an instrument, not a verdict. Pressure is a tool being used in your favor to test and strengthen, not to punish or terminate. Replace urgency with discipline. Urgency makes you scatter. Discipline makes you reliable. Choose curiosity over explanation. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What is this asking of me?" Curiosity opens a learning posture. Keep perspective on pain. Hard seasons do not always mean you are on the wrong path. They often mean you're on a meaningful path. Pain can be a signal of growth, not of failure. Trust your small yeses. A string of small, consistent commitments is what creates a life that can hold an incredible horizon. Let's return to the present. Look at what you've just heard and see where it resonates. If you recognize the signs I described, the late-night clarity, the tightening, the precise coincidences, don't rush to remove the pressure. Instead, ask what it wants to teach you. Prepare to be a larger version of yourself. This is not about becoming someone perfect. It's about becoming someone who can steward more responsibility without losing integrity. Expect the unexpected. That phrase is not an instruction to seek chaos. It's a gentle command to stay awake to possibility. The unexpected that arrives will often be practical, precise, and tailored to who you've quietly become. It may not be the cinematic lightning strike you imagined. It may be a sober, steady invitation that asks you to show up and do the work in a bigger way. You will be misunderstood. You will be underestimated. Use that. Work like someone who knows that what's happening now is not for the applause of the crowd, but for the capacity of your character. The people who will matter later may not have words for what you are building today. That's fine. Let their underestimation be shelter, not a sentence. As you walk forward, keep 3 commitments. 1. Stay honest with yourself. Admit where you're tired and where you're afraid. Honesty is the soil for real growth. 2. Stay accountable to your small disciplines. Daily fidelity compounds into readiness. 3. Stay open to help. When the right person appears or when an opportunity aligns, say the hard yes. Your readiness will be tested by whether you can accept responsibility and carry it steady. You don't have to predict the horizon to move toward it. You don't need to see the entire bridge. You only need to do the next right thing. Fold the small, consistent choices together. Finish what you start, protect your energy, speak truth in relationships, invest in rest, and you will build the architecture necessary to hold more. Expect the unexpected. Something incredible is on the horizon, not because everything will be easier, but because what is on the horizon requires a you who has been refined. Not because the world owes you a miracle, but because your endurance aligns you to the opportunities that require the weight you can now carry. If this is landing with you, if the description of your season resonates, consider sharing this message with someone who might need the reminder. Tell one person, you're not late, you're being prepared. Take a breath and keep walking down the corridor. Tighten the screws that need tightening. Let old identities expire where they must. Build the container that can hold the next chapter. Expect interruptions, expect testing, expect pause, and expect, beyond rational explanation, that something incredible is forming just out of sight. When that moment arrives, you won't be surprised, because surprise requires lack of readiness. You'll be ready because you've been building quietly. You'll receive not as one hoping for rescue, but as one prepared to steward what comes. Expect the unexpected. Something incredible is on the horizon. If this encouraged you, subscribe for more messages that help you recognize the signs and keep going. And before you go, tell us one word in the comments. What sign have you noticed in your life?